All right, so ACT Module 8 is all about angle relationships. So if you went to pedal here last year, angle relationships is something that we do hit very heavily on. We have a whole unit on it in Unit 4, and we bring in angles in practically every single unit that we talk about. We talk about it in Unit 1, Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, Unit 7, Unit 8, Unit 9. We talk about it in nearly every single unit that we cover in geometry. So most of the stuff should be reviewed for you. So a lot of key things they're going to be looking for as far as angle relationships go on the ACT is you need to know that whenever you have a triangle, that the sum of the angles in the triangle must always be 180. Okay, doesn't matter what kind of triangle you got, that's your number. So if you got three angles in a triangle, they should always equal 180. Another thing to note is that in most quadrilaterals, keep in mind that a quadrilateral is just a four-sided shape. In most quadrilaterals, the consecutive angles are going to be supplementary. And what I mean when I say consecutive angles, if I was to draw a four-sided shape real quick, parallelogram, and let's say that I make this angle right here to be, I don't know, let's say 45. Keep the numbers kind of nice. So consecutive angles are going to be angles that basically, if you were to just go around the shape, it doesn't matter which way you go around it. If you were to go around the shape, basically two angles that share a side, or basically two angles that will be back to back, will be considered consecutive. So in a parallelogram, if I have that this angle is 45, that would tell me that this one must be 135 because these two are supplementary. Likewise, if I went the other way, these both sitting on that same side, that one would also have to be 135. And then by the same property, this one 135 should be supplementary to this one, making that one 45. So that's another thing to notice, that in most quadrilaterals, the consecutive angles will be supplementary. And then a few others that are going to be really big will be a linear pair, which is a pair of adjacent supplementary angles. So basically, if you had two angles that were sitting on a straight line and they were just separated by a single ray, that these two right here, angles 1 and 2, they must be 180. They must make a straight angle. Okay, vertical angles. Two angles formed by intersecting lines that are directly opposite from one another, and they are equal to one another. So you had just two random intersecting lines. The angles that are directly across from one another should be vertical to one another. Okay, and then you have supplementary, just two angles that are always added to equal 180. So in this case, a linear pair would work. Consecutive angles would work, but supplementary just describes any two angles that would be 180 if we add their measures together. And same thing for complementary. Two angles that they don't necessarily have to be touching, but just if we were to take their measures and add them up, they would equal 90 degrees.